Jai Hind, ladies and gentlemen. Today is 12th June 2025 and 12th June 2014, that is 11 years back, I had a very beautiful memory and an achievement. I was recommended for the Indian Army from Bhopal SSB, 22 SSB Bhopal, and I was recommended in my first attempt right after college, my graduations, and I was medical out, but I was also a branch minute opener. So today, in the next 2 to 3 minutes, I would like to quote, precisely what helped me getting recommended in the first attempt and some of the best practices that I would like to share with all the aspirants. This is a cumulative, interaction effort since the last, 8 to 9 years where I have been interacting with SSB aspirants through blog writing. I've been a blog writer for SSB Corner, different websites, through podcasting, YouTube, and social media connects. And without any further ado, let's get straight to the point. First thing, when it comes to story narration or story writing, I always had a focus to put a effort for details. Let's say if I'm quoting the particular story as a thing that a student is there and they are preparing for a particular scholarship, putting this kind of endeavor, something or the other, I would like to add more precise details. So for example, when I say scholarship, what kind of scholarship it is? Is it a school scholarship like a National Science Olympiad or something like KVP by Kishore, the Gyani Prasthashan Yojana, something like that. But I would like to quote the details with absolute figures, whatever it is. And the same thing will translate in my narration. So when you have a command over the details and you have a little bit more confident character over your narration, there is a different aura that you cast over the group. However, when I say this, remember that SSB is all about camaraderie. SSB is purely about team. So it does not matter how many people get recommended, but you have to show the best of the foot for team effort. As you move on to story writing in the TAT and the WAT, please ensure that you are completing your sentences. I have seen many people that that leave the stories at one go, just leave it half. That doesn't work. You have to complete the story. If it has a start, it has to have an end. That's called a story. Anything that starts, anything that ends, and in the most short, sweet form. You can also refer to how reports are written, like report writing in journalism. You can also refer to this because this has more overlap when it comes to the particulars. Okay, like how to frame the points. When it comes to the task, GTO, full group task, it's understood that there is going to be a hodgepodge. But what matters here is how you take forward the spirit of camaraderie. Are you acting disobedient? Are you trying to get over your teammate? No. You have to be a little bit cooperative. You have to put your point in a firm way, and it should be an influential manner. That is how good SSB performers make the deal. They are always very confident, they are polite, and they are firm. So that is how you, if like say for example in my group task, I remember the FGT, the full group task was just a hodgepodge here and there. But when it came to the half group task, the group was doing something, I had observed a particular thing, I just raised my hand. That team, I feel that this is the pattern and we can go from here. When I said this, the GTO sir who was there, he just asked and then he asked us to move to the next task. So that is how positive difference can happen when you observe things closely and you be respectful. And you will see that is returning back, especially when it comes to the command task and all that. You will see your teammates respecting you massively if you have shown this sort of character, And when it comes to the other aspects, especially interview, PIQ, form and all that, please jot down particulars. Ensure that you are thorough with the PIQ. It's not something that, like you have written something and there is no clue about that particular thing when it's asked to you. Like for example, it could be cricket. Okay, what kind of cricket you play? It's whether it's a gully cricket or it's a league match or whatever, season cricket, season ball. There are certain things that are expected out of you. So you should be through and thorough with the PIQ form. And when it comes to the interview interaction, it has to be humble, has to be confident. And when I say confident, I mean don't get bogged down. Let's say if you did not score good marks in your 10th and 12th, you should have a reason for that. Okay, what alternatively you were doing in that case? Like, you were doing for something for sports, you were taking care of a family responsibility, etc. Understand one thing. Growing up in the social fabric of India, everybody over here is a social person. Okay, so it can never be a place that you have not shown your officer-like qualities. You definitely have shown your officer-like qualities. You have participated in your family occasions, you have participated in your school occasions, college occasions. Even if you have attended or organized something like a 15th August event or a 26th January event just in your gully mohalla, that is itself a show of initiative and all that. So you don't, project yourself as if you don't know anything or everything is new to you. Quite often it happens that, like when we see something new, let's say officer-like qualities or something like that, we have an understanding that, okay, this must be not in our bucket at all. It is not so. Understand that particular definition of officer-like quality and reflect deeply over the last years what are locations where it is applicable. Forget about what is the gravity of the location. Like for example, if it's a small location or it's a large location, it does not matter. What matters is, did you take the initiative to do something about it? So every small location, if you have done it, it matters more. Okay. So this is something I would like to quote. As a first attempt, I was not very much into practicing. Why? Here is the reason. Because in my college life, in my school life, I always had a flair for participation in events and activities that required articulation. Okay, so let's say it could be writing, debates, it could be speech contests, it could be something like essay writing, it could be blog writing, it could be just something about articulation and expression of art. Of course, we also had the habit of letter writing within our friends. So everything was always there. So if you feel that you do not have these habits, then you should participate in practicing stories. I don't agree with the myth that you should not be practicing too much of stories and all that. But it's not really true, because the more you practice, the greater you have a command over something, right? It is forbidden that you do not ratify a particular story. Let's say you mug up a particular theme and a perception, and when you see that image, you just put it blindly. That's not something that will get you an edge, right? Your creativity comes from your natural flair. So the more you have a practice of using different words, the more you have a habit of reading different kinds of books. Could be fiction, could be non-fiction, could be historic, could be prehistoric, whatever it is. But that will reflect in these areas. So that is why I would like to also recommend that, yes, you should read books when it comes to, preparation in general of a craftsmanship. Because SSB is a personality test. I would say that, SSB as a personality test is definitely evolving for a particular person. Because your personality will not remain the same over a while. Like your time in school, your time in college, it's not going to remain the same. And there is never a start date and end date for just SSB preparation. It has to be that you are preparing for the personality as a whole. So when you're preparing for SSB, it should feel that yes, you're developing your personality. Now the question is, what if you're already participating in a lot of events in school, in colleges, and you're already engaged in a lot of event management activities, you are fairly good in academics. So that means your personality is already taking shape. Okay, now that is something that I feel that coincided with me and that has been getting recommended in the first attempt, because I always had that sort of participation, that sort of culture during my school, college, and everywhere. This is what I want to go. Now, wherever you see the gap, let's say in college, if you feel that you do not have the, infrastructure or, like the belongingness that you can go for an event management, you can go for a debate competitions, search around lot of other tech fests and management fests that have happened in different colleges. They take a little bit of money, and then you can get entry into that college as a student, and then you can participate. Even during our college, I was into Tier 3 engineering college in Chhattisgarh, and I had gone to many other fests. I have gone to management fest in VNIT Nagpur and IIM Ahmedabad, and this is something I'm talking about my engineering. Also in different NITs here and there for technical exposure. Even now, I'm into the work profile. It's been like 9 to 10 years of work experience. Even now, I'm very enthusiastic about participating in different type of events. So I scout for events that are there online. Let's say any type of online case competition or any type of hackathons. Like hackathons in the same sense, it's just not about hacking something, but yes, a business problem will be given and we have to participate with a solution presentation on that. So even today, I have that habit of participating. So the only thing that I would urge all the students and all the aspirants is get into the habit of liking competition. Don't shy away from it. You will never be into something like, like you can shy away from competition and then okay, have things your way. It doesn't happen that way. It's always good to be in the competition. It's okay to be, and it's good that you come second or third, because there will be an urge to become the best. And every day you may not be the best. Okay, so that is something. If that is lacking, fill that gap. If that is not lacking, maintain the course. This is how it works. So overall, as I remember my SSB today after 11 years back, I feel very very nostalgic. I mean, my SSB was like an absolute cinema. There were a lot of good events happening. I personally did a lot of mistakes, during the group task, going into a different pattern and here and there, something like that. Just super little mistakes that happened. And yeah, but what matters is the kind of friend circle was built. So, SSB, you make the best of the friends, and I know many people who have become best friends or besties, even though they have not got recommended or they got convinced out, but they are friends for life. So that is one thing. So every citizen of India should at least go for an SSB at least once to experience that sort of thing. One last and important component that I want to quote is, go with an attitude to take the experience. Don't go with an attitude to just convert the opportunity. Because what happens is, if you go with this sort of attitude that, okay, I should be selected by SSS, then your performance will be under the focus of, okay, what the SSR is thinking. The point is, you should be able to deliver the best of your ability in the raw form, however it is. Now, whether it is good or bad according to the SSS, that's a different issue. But you should be able to deliver the best. So go with an attitude to experience that, okay, this particular time I'm going to spend here and I'm going to be in the best version of myself. And when I say this, it should not be just in thoughts, it should be in your actions, it should be in your behavior, and it begins right from the gate. So this is something that you should keep in mind. For people who are, coming in for the SSB for the, second attempt, third attempt, 10th attempt, 12th attempt, whatever it is, I will not quote anything like repeaters. That's not a right word, because you are definitely the most passionate about SSB than anybody else. So what you can do is draw 3 columns in a piece of paper. The first column is S, situation. The second column is B, as in behavior. The third column is I, as in impact. Situation, behavior, impact. Now what you can do is, when you have to do introspection of a particular previous SSB, so you have to describe the situation that, okay, this was the GD that was happening. What was the behavior of the entire atmosphere or yours? I was timid. The group was into the fish market or something like that. And what was the impact? Did you get screened in? Did you get screened out? Something like this. Situation, behavior, impact. Do a detailed analysis. Don't think in the heads. Get yourself a pen and paper and start working on that. The best of the ideas, the breakthrough of all the ideas happen in pen and paper. And this is a proven fact. You can never ignore this. This thing always works around. Let me tell you that it has always worked. Okay, so with the right faith, I like to wish you all the very best. I don't want to extend this video along, but yeah, give your best shot, be humble, and go with the spirit of camaraderie, and I'm sure you'll make it. If not, you should always look forward to serving this society, because I'll tell you something that even when we got out in the medicals, it did not deject us. Yes, it does feel bad, but it never deject us from anything, because we always were like, for me personally, I have been active in social service and philanthropy since a very young age, since high school, in college, going to old age home, orphanages, and a lot of things. So, for me, I always had a sense of belongingness towards the society as a philanthropy or as a volunteer or as a community support, irrespective of my credential of qualifying into the armed forces or not. And that should be precisely your attitude. That irrespective of your performance being accepted as a recommendation or not, or acknowledged or felicitated, please be addicted to the habit of excellence. Be addicted to the habit of serving. God willing, someday you'll make a greatest wonder, and for which you'll leave the footprints in the sands of time. So with this, I'd like to conclude. Wish you all the very best, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind, and thank you for watching. Bye.